love, understanding. Everybody clap your hands now. Welcome to the morning meeting. Come on now, put your hands together. Now everybody say, no smack in the chat. No smack
All
in
right,
the chat.
that's enough of that.
One more time.
One more time. Welcome back. One more time this week. It's the morning meeting. Dan, Sean, and Mark, your morning Jews. Morning Jews. Morning Jews. Morning Zoo. Welcome in, everybody. Israel on my mind. Thank you for being part of the two-way experience. This is the morning meeting. Dan, Sean, and I simulating what happens at the network news division's morning meetings, where Barry Weiss books 3 former Secretary of States, just like that. Secretaries of State. Glad to have everybody here. If you want to be in on the conversation, please raise your hand. As it says on my shirt sleeve here, no smack in the chat. If you're watching on X or on YouTube, just for once, just think about peace, love, and understanding. Don't go in there and say, I'll never watch this show again, or Dan's an idiot, or Dan's the only Democrat I like, although lots of people who watch this show seem to have that point of view. In any event.
That he's an idiot, yes.
Yeah. In any event, we're all wearing this morning merch from Fairway and Green, customized for the two-way experience. Mine says the morning meeting, no smack in the chat. Dan's got the morning meeting. Sean, the morning meeting. You too can own merchandise like this. And if you do and you get it and you like it, you may want to do what one of the members of the community, Jason Geary, did. Jason, maybe the most fortunate person in America, 100, please. Jason did not purchase Fairway and Green merchandise himself. No, he's got the nicest family in North America. For my birthday, my family got me merch from my favorite show. I can join my boys, Mark, Dan, and Sean, in wonderful comfort. So right now, go to twoway.tv/fairway. Use the promo code TWOWAY20, 20% off, and you too can look like Dan, Sean, and Jason. Wide assortment of options available, customized. You can get a morning meeting, the two-way logo. And again, all our catchphrases available to you. Sean, tell folks what you're wearing today. It looks like maybe oatmeal. What are you wearing there?
No, Mark, actually, it's the Madison Bryant stripe, size large in color Maury, M-A-R-I. Yeah, that's right. It's a beautiful, comfortable polo.
I don't think I get a size large over my head. Dan,
don't ask me the
don't
color
ask you.
because I forgot this last time. I'm looking it up right now. I
We'll
keep
just call it
forgetting.
mauve.
Yeah. Anyway, again,
Dan's wearing an extra small, by the way.
We recommend him to you. Not only will you feel like you're even more part of the two-way community, but we've told you before, the most well-made clothes you can imagine. Go to twoway.tv/fairway. All right. On the schedule today, interesting at the White House. BBC is the radio pool. The Lion is the new media pool. On the supplemental pool, the president's going to Walter Reed at 10 to get something unique and new in American history, a presidential semi-annual, not biannual, semi-annual checkup, physical. He had one in the spring. He's having another one now. He spoke about it yesterday. Kind of unclear exactly why he's getting another physical in the same calendar year. I don't know that any president in my memory has ever done that, but he is one of our older presidents. So we'll see what comes out of that. And then as you can see on the announcement, if you're watching here on YouTube or on the platform, you won't know this if you're listening to the podcast version. Both Trumps are making announcements today. The First Lady at 11 while her husband's at Walter Reed, where, by the way, the president's scheduled to be there from 10 until 3. It's a long time. So we'll all be watching later to see.
You know what is. You get there, you're in the waiting room for a while.
Yeah. The forms, they give you an iPad and you got to go through. Is your insurance
check in? You know how it is.
Mr. Trump has your insurance information.
I was just going to say they're going to check his insurance.
Yeah. Anyway, and then so the First Lady's making an announcement at 11. As far as I know, I've asked far and wide and searched far and wide. No idea what that's about. And then the president himself at 5 o'clock has an announcement. Also unspecified. So double Trump announcements of mystery. Full coverage, of course, later on two-way tonight, but we'll see if anybody breaks that during this hour. J.D. Vance is headed to Indiana to try to convince the legislators there and the governor to redistrict. I keep forgetting. Is that to get one more seat or two more seats?
Just potentially one. Two. No,
potentially
there's definitely one. They think that right now it's 7-2.
Yeah.
They think they can go a full 9-0, but definitely an 8-1.
Definitely one. Okay. Congress is out. Both the Senate left too. The House is out, but Speaker Johnson and the other leaders are holding a press conference at 10.
By the way, mutually assured destruction. Both Dems and our senators have fundraising retreats, and they continue.
Yes, but Thune reportedly dropped out of his fancy fundraising retreat.
Well, but the fundraiser is still going on with other senators, just not Thune. Yes.
Yeah. So Johnson press conference at 10. House Democrats virtual caucus at noon, and Mike Johnson is talking to the Freedom Caucus at 11. The president appears, based on all the reports, to be headed at some point this weekend, first to Egypt and then to Israel, where he'll speak to the Knesset. It does not appear he'll be on the ground in Israel for very long. So we've got a ton to get to, a ton of topics, and then we'll want your questions. Dan wanted to spend the whole hour talking about Letitia James, but he was overruled by the subcommittee on content. So we'll get to that, but it won't be the whole hour. And of course, it's Friday, so at the end of the program, or at the end of this part of the program, we'll have our winners and losers of the week, plus what to watch for this weekend. You won't want to miss that branded segment. I am not a fan of branded segments, or at least I'm not obsessive about them the way some people in the media are. But that's a branded segment that many of you love. So stay tuned for winners and losers of the week, the most unoriginal branded segment I think we've ever created here. So Middle East, guys, we could talk about a ton of stuff. Here's just a few elements to show you. Interesting. This was not announced or revealed until yesterday, 104. 200 American service personnel will be in the region. The U.S. Says they're not going to Gaza, at least not yet. And it's not clear if they'll clearly be advisory, supervisory, but who else will be part of this force, where they'll actually be, what their mission will be. All this is unclear. But obviously, MAGA probably will not explode in rage at 200, but some of us call that a tripwire, a slippery slope, a sitting duck. We'll see what happens with that. Mr. Mondami responded, 105, to the deal. Pretty positive about the deal. I hope it is lasting. I hope that it brings peace. Just like Barack Obama, who took a lot of heat on Twitter, didn't give a ton of credit to Donald Trump. Barack Obama tweeted about how great the deal was, didn't mention President Trump. Chuck Schumer lauded the deal. People generally pretty happy with the deal. And although questions remain, the holy trinity of the Gang of 500 all praised the deal. And by that, of course, I mean Tom Friedman, Peggy Noonan, and David Ignatius. All praised the deal and all gave credit to President Trump. So rather than try to figure out when phase 2 is happening or the exact quotidian detail of phase 1, here's what I want to ask you both. Sean, how does this deal, assuming it stays on track, impact American domestic politics?
I don't think it does.
At all. It doesn't strengthen the president's hand, or
it does.
Help him raise more money from Jews. Anything?
Maybe I think on the edges. I think you might pull on, but I think the Jews who are with him are probably, and again, this is like probably with him already because of his stance on Israel. He's been, nothing's new, right?
Yeah.
So you might see a blip. But again, I've always been skeptical that foreign policy really drives much anything domestically. So
Dan, does it help? Does it help Cuomo because it takes Mondami's energy away from we gotta protect the citizens of Gaza? Does it help Cuomo?
Well, that's what I don't think it's going to help, broadly speaking, the kind of DR clash. And I think historically, whether it was Churchill or George H.W. Bush, Americans kind of go back to their lives and what are you doing for me?
Right.
I think in the Democratic Party, the interesting thing is you have like the Michigan Senate race where this issue was still very resonant and the plight of the Palestinians. I do wonder if that now recedes a little bit. I still think the issue of AIPAC and do you support Israel will be for every Democrat in every single race put to him or her, but it may become less of a tripwire within the party in primaries.
But I'll just press you on that. It doesn't have the potential to substantially reduce this as a divisive issue for the Democratic Party. I think if this stays on track, it may not be an issue that people who want to run for the nomination have to kind of navigate. It may just be, we're all for Israel. We're all for the poor people of Gaza.
Yeah, no, I think if nothing happens, I guess then that assumes that from here till, let's say, early 28, there's no developments. I doubt it's a straight line. So you mentioned the 200 military personnel. What if we're putting money in there? I think both parties, this is going to remain a very complicated issue, different dynamic, right? I think on the right, it's going to be is American tax dollars and American personnel doing, helping, this situation. And on the left, it's going to be, are you with Israel or are you with the Palestinians?
I think if it stays on track, the two big political winners are the Democratic Party and Andrew Cuomo.
I don't know,
Mark, but I think that's the key phrase, though, right? Just to be clear, on track matters, because if the residents of Gaza don't feel like they're getting the aid that they need, the humanitarian care, et cetera, then I think that changes the dynamic real quick.
Yeah. Okay. Last question on this. What other countries are going to put military on the ground? Do we know? Anybody seen anything on that?
Who else has the real military?
Well, Egypt does, Saudi does.
Well,
yeah, Egypt and Saudi.
I think what's interesting, Mark, is the reports are that what helped get the Hamas to agree to this was that their regional partners, Saudi Arabia and others, Trump guaranteed them that Israel would not go further, and basically guaranteed he would hold this, which means we have skin in the game now to ensure this.
Yep.
That's a real slippery slope.
Yeah. All right. Well, two more quick things that we're going to move the shutdown. First of all, I never read the chat, but I do glance at it, and I see Matthew Bartlett put in, yes, the Gulf states have militaries, but I don't know that they're
for what they're needed for. To be honest with you, I mean, like, this is not, you're not ground troops here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is peacekeeping stuff. It's, to be blunt, it's not.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Matthew says it's part of the deal, but Matthew, if they really could do the job, we wouldn't have to put 200 Americans there. Lastly, and I want a serious answer when we do our play acting. I like you guys to, it's play acting, but to be real, if you guys were Barack Obama's comms director and press secretary, or chief of staff and comms director, and he showed you a tweet about the deal, not mentioning Donald Trump, and said, "Hey, what do you guys think?" What would you say?
Look, folks,
would you tell him to put President Trump's name in the tweet or not?
Well, look, I think, Mark, you can't have this conversation without the backstory, which is when Barack Obama killed Osama bin Laden, most Republicans refused to acknowledge him in their statements. Again,
what would you say to Barack Obama if he showed you the statement?
His statement was fine. His statement was fine. Yeah, I mean, look, Dan Turrentine would say the obvious and congratulate Donald Trump, but the amount of scar tissue between those two, I just don't think he can. Did Trump congratulate Barack Obama?
All good. I'm just wondering.
I think, look, here's the bottom line. Could he get away with it if he said, "Hey, today's developments in the Middle East are significant for a way forward for peace. I'm pleased that the government." I would say you're fine. Like, if you want, you're not going to get hit for that, but. And with Dan, I mean, look, there's a lot of scar tissue. If you don't want to get there, I'm not going to. This is one where, as a staffer, I'd say, boss, I'm not fighting you on this one.
Yeah.
You might want to, if you add it, I think it'll help you in the long term. But this isn't a hill I'm going to die on.
Again, no one could say that the lack of comedy and unity around this historic moment is Donald Trump's blameless for that. Obviously, no one could say that. You could argue he's the most responsible of anyone on the playing field.
By the way, one thing you asked about how this is going forward, I think when you look at Donald Trump's problem solving mechanism, right? The Witkoff, the Jared, the way that it's unconventional. I think this has hugely helped that. It is much harder to criticize Donald Trump's tactics when you say, really, because the way I'm doing it has done all this.
Totally agree. It's a brilliant point. Totally agree.
Sit down. I don't want to hear it again.
Totally agree. Who was the person who said, I think on this platform, some prominent Democrat said, I may disagree with, I know it wasn't on this platform. It was Meacham on Morning Joe. Meacham gave Trump credit. Yep. And, anyway, I just think it's sad for America. But again, I'm not saying, how dare they not support Donald Trump for the reasons you said, Dan. But I just think it's bizarrely sad.
Oh, it's not bizarre. I mean, it's
bizarre.
Obvious.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre in the long sway of American history.
Well, but Mark, I just think you can't make that.
Just to be clear, I'm not saying the Democrats' failure to credit him is bizarre. I'm saying it's just sad to me and out of keeping with like what it means to be an American that no one can come together even on something like this. I was joking we'd take repelling a Martian invasion, but like this is an incredible accomplishment by an American president
I mean, look, I rarely do this, like almost ever, but the way that Trump treated Obama was so horrific.
Dan, I
No,
agree.
I
said,
know, but like
I'm not saying how
just
dare.
have to say that.
I
Like it's
understand.
just
I'm not saying how dare the Democrats not
yeah,
support him. I get your point of view
yep,
100%. I think it's sad for the country.
That
yep,
we're at this place.
yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
just sad. It's just sad. And again, if he said who's most to blame, Trump would be most to blame. And again, ironically, I think this is going to help the Democrats a lot. Okay, if it holds. Shut down. This confuses me. And again, right now, people are back to saying, despite the vote yesterday on the defense bill, maybe because of it, this is now going to go to the end of October. That's sort of where the sentiment is now that everybody's left town and there's no sign of talks. But again, this is what's confusing me. It seemed to me for a long time the deal's clear. There aren't 17 things to deal with. There's one thing to deal with. How do you get Democrats comfortable to reopen the government without an explicit connection to a vote on health care? And here's John Thune last night on the NewsHour. I don't know why John Thune's on the NewsHour, but that's a whole other show. Here's John Thune on the NewsHour laying the whole thing out. Roll 108, please.
Well, I think at the end of the day, now what's going to have to happen is it's going to take Democrats to open up the government, and I've said, give us the votes to open up the government, then we'll have a conversation about some of these issues that you want to discuss. And I think healthcare is certainly something that we are anxious to talk about as well. And I think if giving them a potential vote on something in the future is a way for them to be able to go to their people and say this is something that we got in exchange to, then maybe that's what ultimately helps open up the government. But at the current time, none of this happens absent them voting to reopen the government. We understand, and I've said this all along, happy to have that conversation about some of these other issues, but open up the government first, quit taking it hostage, and let's get the American people and the federal workers, let's get them back to work.
Again, that's what passes for super exciting in South Dakota. Okay, so why doesn't J.D. Vance just call Schumer and say, here's the fig leaf, here's what you're going to get? I know the devil's in the details, and some Democrats would demand a more specificity. Some Democrats are even demanding a guarantee that it passes both chambers, which I've never heard of. That seems like an unrealistic demand. But why can't we know what the deal is? Why aren't they making the deal, Sean?
Look, you know where I stand on this. They should be jamming them on Approps bills and doing this whole thing. I actually think this is ridiculous. My tactic at this point would be J.D. Vance should call Jeanne Shaheen and say, what will it take for you? Get her on board.
Yeah.
She probably brings two.
Yeah.
But don't go through Schumer. Break them apart as
100%. Form a gang and say, this is the best we can get you.
In fact, politically speaking, I would fracture the Democratic caucus by calling Jeanne Shaheen and saying, can you bring two friends over to the White House, and basically isolate Schumer, because that would really grate. I mean,
but ironically, that's better for Schumer, because then he doesn't have to leave the cave, and the base can still be
right.
For
and
Schumer.
He gets to, but he's not going to anyway.
Yeah. Dan, if the president or J.D. Vance or even Thune just said and they're having some of these talks, just say to Shaheen, as Sean said, bring four friends.
I think the problem is it's not our party that's fractured. It's the Republican Party, because Speaker Mike Johnson will not in any way, shape, or form guarantee even allowing a vote in the House, because the majority of the majority rule. The majority of Republicans do not want to touch this healthcare issue because they have no idea what they want to do. They know Democrats are going to win. They do not want to acknowledge the ACA in any way, shape, or form. So it's my understanding that the gang, such as it is in the Senate, has looked across and asked Mike Johnson, not for a guarantee for the outcome. They know the outcome, because you're going to get all the Democrats and you'll probably get 50 to 60 Republicans.
Right.
The issue is Johnson won't do it. And this is why I keep saying this to you guys. It totally splits the Republican Party. We have all the momentum right now. Now, we may lose it by November 1st because of paychecks and everything. But right now, we got all the momentum, and Republicans are totally divided. Totally.
Republicans are certainly divided on a bill about military pay. They're certainly divided on whether they should be in D.C. or not. Right.
Yep. Totally.
Are there other divisions, Dan, besides those two?
Oh, the ACA, the approach to ACA.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing we've said it since August. This is the $1 million issue. And even Donald Trump, I think the question is, when does Trump kind of get involved here? Like, that's the real, because I think he's going to have to call Mike Johnson in and say,
he's busy. He's headed to the Middle East. He's a little busy. All right. Last exit, mandatory exit question. Prediction. Sean Spicer, will the full or partial government shutdown still be in place by October 25th? Yes or no?
Great. Here's what I was going to bring up. This no King's March is what I hear from Dems is they want to get to that October 18th rally.
Yeah, October.
So I think maybe the 19th, which is sad. The idea that they're waiting for a rally.
Well, but the negotiations can't start till after the rally. So
well, look, here's the other thing people have to get in mind.
Yes or no? Mandatory prediction.
No.
No. Settled before October 25th. Dan Turrentine, Danny. Yes,
still going to be going. It's
going
going to be
October
around
25th.
that second paycheck that this is going to get serious.
Wrong. It ends October 20.
Wait, it's got to be one of the. I went yes. Dan went no. Someone's got to be right.
I think it'll be
like
over.
politics.
I think you're right. I think it'll be over by then.
Yeah.
All right. We already talked a little bit about the Trump health thing, but either of you have anything else you want to say? Like, anybody have I assume this is just like if it were my dad or my uncle or my neighbor, I'd assume he's got something wrong that they want to check out. Isn't that like right?
He's
Sean,
got physical problems, I believe.
He's got some complaints, and it's like, let's go check it out. Now, as Sean well knows, Dan knows too, there's an extraordinary facility at the White House. They got every machine there, almost every machine, but clearly this requires, and again, it's 5 hours. So Sean, is that a reasonable supposition? Because
I've been to Walter Reed. There's a lot. Wait times are horrible.
Yeah.
No, I look. My guess is they do have a very extensive, but they do not have a lot of the testing equipment. That's the one thing to know. So my guess is that, based on whatever they came up with the last time, and in light of the diagnosis that we now know about President Biden, I think obviously there's a sense of, hey, let's go back in every 6 months. I mean, look, I've got, there's a bunch of things, especially like on skin cancer, where they're telling you, hey, go in every 6 months.
So I'll remind everybody that when the president last had his physical, 111, please, they were admirable in how much they put out. They put out a pretty detailed document. You see it here. They did not, however, make the doctor available to brief. And my colleagues in the media who have White House press passes did not send their medical reporters to cover the next briefing. These things should all happen. Guys, do you think there'll be robust disclosure after today's semi-annual? Wait, it's semi-annual. It's not biannual. I think I got it wrong before. It's semi-annual, not biannual. It's semi-annual. I think I said it opposite wrong. Anyway, will we get a briefing?
You'll get the same report you got last time, I guess.
A printed report. Okay.
Yep. And just to be clear, I don't entirely disagree with you in terms of, as an American, what I'd like to know about my president's health. But I think, just to be clear, as far as I know, and you've covered this a lot more extensively, I don't recall any doctor outside of Ronnie Jackson ever briefing on the president's health. But
they should.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. There's a difference.
They should. And particularly with this old president, with all these rumors about his health. And again, I want to know what's going on with his hands. I want to know what's going on with his legs. I want to know what's going on with his medications.
And that's the interesting thing, is the leg issue was not mentioned in that summer,
correct,
in that spring,
correct,
but by it is alleged that he was beginning to suffer issues.
Yes.
And so I will be very curious, because again, we have to say this. Donald Trump's MO is strength. He says it out loud. He constantly wants to project strength, control, and dominance. And it's hard when you're hitting 80 years old to have complete strength.
DC bureau chiefs, meet me at camera 1. The next Caroline briefing, no matter when it is, no matter what's in the news, send your medical correspondent to the White House briefing. Do not send your political reporters who know nothing about medicine. Get them credentialed, get them waved in, and have them sit there and ask Caroline questions that are legit. She won't be able to answer them because she's not a doctor either. But say, we'd like to ask the doctor, but the doctor's not here, and ask very intricate, detailed questions. This is not gotcha. It's not an attempt to get Donald Trump. This should be for every president, regardless of age or party. It's a national disgrace how poorly we do this. And it's got to be led by the media, because the president's not going to be inclined to be disclosing anything. All right. Either of you have any idea, or do you want to make just wild guesses what the twin Trump family announcements are today? Anybody?
The only thing on Mrs. Trump, I would say there's two options. One, it is aesthetics, meaning we've done something to the White House grounds that I'm leading the effort on. She did the tennis facility last time, I think. Or it's like another Be Best type of rollout.
Yeah. Now, they announced yesterday something about her movie that's coming out. Could it be about the movie? Could it be about that? Or probably not, right?
I doubt it.
And what would the Trump announcement be? Anybody have any guess about that?
It's interesting. It's coming right after his health visit, because I would wonder if he would take questions at all. You would think he's going to get questions about his health, considering where he's been all day.
Yeah, I'll just blow him off though.
Yeah, I was going to say that's easy because you can be like, I'm great, I'm healthy.
Yeah,
awesome.
All right. The Letitia James indictment. This seems
he's
to me
going to want to talk about this.
This seems to me to be more legit than the Comey indictment in terms of not whether they did anything wrong, but whether you could get a conviction.
Correct.
Off of it.
Every lawyer that I've seen weigh in on this so far said this is a much tighter and much better.
And I'll go back to being a media critic. There's nothing in the coverage about that I saw anywhere about whether this is a solid indictment. It's all about the politics of it, all about Trump, vindictive, etc. Dan, it seems like whether it's selective prosecution or not, it seems like based on the indictment that there's a decent chance she did something wrong and could be convicted. No,
and that's why the federal professional prosecutor said there's nothing there, and I'm not going to bring the charges. So they said that's it, you're out.
Yeah,
but I'm waiting for the Scott Bested prosecution, who apparently had the same exact thing. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Probably won't happen.
His cabinet, not half. Yeah. I think it's 5 alleged cabinet members had the same exact thing, to which they were like, but we don't want to talk about that.
Have you talked to any lawyers about it though, Dan?
Have I proactively reached out to lawyers?
No. Okay. I recommend it.
You know, again,
so you think that the federal prosecutor who was in charge just was like,
because it's a selective prosecution of something that isn't normally prosecuted.
She reportedly said that the facts just do not support bringing this.
Reportedly.
So can I just?
That's right.
Here's what I think is important to understand. There's a difference between it, meaning it's like legally de minimis. It's like, hey, who cares? This doesn't matter, right? And when it comes to this is kind of like when we talk about the National Guard use Title 10, Title 32. Like the details matter. So on a second home, one of the big things is if you're using it like as a vacation home, that's one thing versus an investment property, because those are distinctively different. And as a guy who has dabbled in real estate, I can tell you that those are very different. You get very different rates. And there is no question, as far as I know, in terms of the evidence that is put out, that what she cited as a principal residence is an investment property, right? So if you're going to use it exclusively for the purposes of making money, i.e. rentals, et cetera, that's different than I have a second home.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I think from what I've read, it sounds like the defense is when she first purchased the property, it was not to be a rental. She then decided after a year or so to make it a rental.
But by the way, if you do that, that's legal. If you wait a year.
So, I mean, look, we're going to find out.
All right. All right. We're going to do some rapid stuff here, both on this topic and then political.
And Mark, I will just add, of all of this, I'm sure there is sweet justice, because this is the woman who literally campaigned on. I'm going to go get the guy. So I get that. I get that.
Just a rapid round here, and then political potpourri, also rapid round. How will this case end? Dismissal, acquittal, conviction, plea deal? Dan, how will this case end?
Either plea deal or acquittal.
Nope.
Acquittal.
No, she's going to get convicted.
Okay, we'll see. I say acquittal.
It may be.
Never plead.
Look, it may be again. It may be some technical, like you committed fraud in the 18th degree, but there's going to be a conviction here.
Yeah. All right. Kudos to the team, Katie Porter. They got all the liberal interest groups, unions who have endorsed her to come out and put out statements.
They said they'd kick their butts if they did.
All put out statements saying we love Katie Porter. We need somebody tough. They've rallied around her. Here's the Politico headline: Katie Porter camp rallies allies to her defense. Support from more than a half dozen groups and officials, blah, blah, blah. And then Tom Steyer, is he a millionaire or a billionaire?
Oh, a billionaire, hedge fund.
Billion.
Yep.
Tom Steyer, the billionaire who's who spends a lot of money on things, 114, please, to put his name out there and thought about running for president. Katie Porter's Spiral. There's also Politico, and a $12 million ad buy sparked chatter of a Tom Steyer comeback. Steyer is advertising on the ballot measure on redistricting. All right, guys. Dan, who are the two most likely next governors of California? Just give me two names.
Caruso and or Porter.
Dan, Sean.
I would say I'd still put Porter at the top of the list. Whoever, I think the big question is who. It's a jungle primary, so I think maybe it's either Caruso or that second Dem, and I don't know who that will be.
I still think as long as the base sticks by Porter, she'll be a top two.
Can I just on a PR standpoint, the one thing that baffled me is I think her team is missing this in the sense that flooding the zone with people saying we stand with you is missing the point. She has an image problem. If I were them, I'd sit down and say the only way this gets better is by doing a series of interviews where you suck up, act like nice, and like you can't.
She won't do it.
She can't. She won't do it. Can't do it.
Capable of it.
I know. Okay. Again, I get that, but I'm telling you that this is when you see this is your strategy. Can you guys go say nice things about me because I can't be nice?
This was like when people who ostensibly were trying to help Joe Biden said after the debate, the only way he fixes this is if he goes out and does a town hall every day, press conference every day. No, if you think Katie Porter can fix this by
but just
out,
again for those exact reasons, that's the point. Is that when the person can't physically do it, that's the tell.
Yeah.
And the idea that this is the strategy that they chose says something about her.
I want to see how she raises money going forward after this. I also want to see if more at former staff and current staff come out of the woodwork. But what I really want to see is if any of the half dozen other Democrats, not Steyer, can catch on. It's hard to catch on in California. It's hard, but they all have I think they all have the potential, but you haven't seen any of them do it. And I want to see that. All right. Real quick, again, we got to get through this. Percentage chance. Give me the percentage chance. Percentage chance that the Republican wins the governor's race in Virginia. Sean, give me a percentage chance she wins.
60.
Oh, Sean. Dan.
I'm going to say 40.
Wow. Okay. Percentage chance the Republican.
Wait, give us a number. Hold on. You can't,
my number?
You can't say, oh, Sean.
My number's 25.
Oh, listen.
Yeah. Okay.
The poll. She's gonna. I mean, I still think she's
percentage chance. Percentage chance the Democrat wins the Attorney General's race in Virginia. Sean.
4%.
4%. Dan.
40.
25. Percent chance Jack wins in New Jersey. Before you answer, here's Jack on Fox and Friends.
So my energy bills have practically doubled this summer. It was crazy. Bills at $500-600, and I don't even own a swimming pool. What is your plan to reduce those costs and bring energy back to New Jersey?
Good one, Wanda. Jack?
Good one, Wanda. And Steve, I can't tell you how jealous I am. I'm not there with you. We're part of the diner tour every day. But listen, my opponent has blamed this on the president. The president has nothing to do with what's going on with electricity rates. It has everything to do with Phil Murphy's failed policies. I'm going to pull us out of Reggie. The Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative is a carbon tax policy that costs New Jerseyans anywhere from $300 to $500 million a year. The Democratic governor of Pennsylvania is not Reggie. We should not be either. I could save $300 to $500 million a year, and that's for homeowners, tenants, and businesses all across the state. And then we'll have a rational energy plan that produces more electricity, and we will once again become an exporter of electricity. We once were 8 years ago. Today we have to import it, and we're paying through the nose.
Pull us out of Reggie. Here's 115. Hey, this is a mailer showing up in New Jersey mailboxes where the Republican Democratic strategy against Jack is clear. The MAGA King. Little play on the Lion King, just in case you didn't get that. Anyway, Sean, what's your percent for Jack? Just can't wait to be king, becoming the king of Jersey.
I think it's probably 60, 65.
60, 65. Dan?
55.
58 is the correct answer. All right. Percent chance Mondami wins. Dan, where are you on that today?
Interesting poll out here on that. He's
telling you if Curtis falls.
Yeah,
Curtis
70%.
70%. Sean?
100.
The correct answer is 75%. But wait for the debates. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's meaningless until we see the debates. Okay, percent chance the California redistricting measure passes. The yes wins. Percent chance yes wins.
65.
65. Dan?
80.
75%. And percent chance that Indiana redistricts. Sean?
I'm in the 80s on that. 80 to 85.
80 to 85. Dan?
100. The king has spoken.
75 is also the answer for that one. All right, here we go. Winners, losers, and what to look for. And then, ladies and gentlemen, after long last, your questions for Sean and Dan. If you want recommendations on which Fairway and Green products to buy or what to do this weekend, what to watch, which to stream on Netflix, they are open for business on anything you would like to know. I don't know, what are we putting up there, guys? I don't know what's going up in there. All right. I know what's going up there. Winners and losers. Sean M. Spicer, winner of the week.
All right. I assumed I would have gone second and somebody would have already I want to be clear. The deal in Gaza, massive, but I assumed I would have gotten scooped on that. It's the 250th anniversary of the U.S. Navy. Obviously kicked it off in Norfolk last week. Big celebration in Philadelphia this week. It's a shame that it's happening during a government shutdown and doesn't get the recognition that it deserves. Army got a big parade. We have a flotilla. But it was it's a great opportunity to celebrate 250 years of naval service, and so go Navy, beat Army.
Dan, winner of the week.
All right, we have a tie. It has Donald Trump. Donald Trump has to be said because the peace deal is just absolutely historic, and even though it's obvious, I just, as an American, you need to say it. My second tied winner of the week, Chuck Schumer. He's taken a lot of crap. He's had a horrific year. He has had a good week in that his caucus is sticking together. And, we have kind of gotten the upper hand in the short term. So Donald Trump and Chuck Schumer are my tied winners of the week.
Is this Joe and Mika live with Mondami right now? Is that what that is? Let's dip into that.
I don't know if it's live.
It looks like it's live. Let's just dip into that. Just see what they're talking about.
They are. But if quality of life issues start slipping, they suddenly become very Republican and they become very conservative. So I think this is something Bill de Blasio, a progressive, even understood. Crime fell to the lowest number. It's been, New York Times said, my God, we have to go back to the 1950s to even guess when it's been this safe in New York City. A lot of people are afraid if they elect you, you're going to take your eye off the ball on making New York a safer place. You're going to be hostile towards the police.
Because they changed how they account for crime.
What do you tell those people who are concerned about safety, quality of life issues, homelessness?
He looks a little shell-shocked, doesn't he?
Don't think it's progressive.
He's like, what are you doing asking real questions?
To be sleeping
he also didn't look that well
when it's
kempt.
4 degrees below zero.
Let's be clear, it's not progressive for that. And quality of life actually has to be at the heart of any progressive politics. And public safety will be the cornerstone for delivering our affordability agenda. And this, what we've seen right now is...
So you're saying you're putting public safety...
It is
as job number one.
It is a critical
Keeping
focus.
New Yorkers safe.
Absolutely.
Making sure that when kids walk to school, they can walk there safely. When they're in school,
Get on the subway.
You like
Get on the bus.
Look, yes,
you like police officers.
Our police officers are going to be the ones we partner with to deliver public safety. And I just want to say a few things, which is that when you ask New Yorkers, where do they feel least safe? They'll often tell you, when they're using public transit. They'll say, when I'm on the subway, when I'm in the train, I'll see a homelessness crisis, a mental health crisis, and we've asked cops to be responsible for these crises, whereas their job should really be focusing on serious crimes. And so our vision is allow officers to focus on shootings and murders and the serious crimes that we know New Yorkers are concerned about, and have a Department of Community Safety that deals with the mental health crisis, that deals with homelessness, that actually deploys dedicated teams of mental health outreach workers to the 100 subway stations with the highest rates of these incidents to take those New Yorkers out of the system of the subway and connect them with the services that they need. That's how we're going to deliver.
And if they stay in that subway, if it's the same person day in, day out in that subway,
screaming at people,
you will give them the authority to make sure they're taken out at the subway.
Yes, this is the focus of the Department of Community Safety, is to connect them with services. And if, after we exhaust each and every issue, involuntary confinement is there, but it should be a last resort of what we do.
So a defining theme for the next mayor will be the relationship with the White House and President Trump.
All right,
Trump,
we can't watch the whole thing. Interesting.
At the idea of
winner, we'll monitor it. If something happens, we'll bring you.
He did not earn my vote with that
winner.
answer.
Okay, I thought it's pretty good.
It's good politics. It's I don't agree with it, but
yeah, understood. My winner of the week are the people of Gaza and Israel. Sean, loser of the week.
Loser of the week is the entire Democratic ticket in Virginia. I mean, the ads, it is now every candidate. So Winsome Sears is up going after Abigail Spanberger last night. The debate last night, that's all local news talked about this morning, was how Spanberger responded to the Jay Jones issue. And so I believe the entire ticket, Jay Jones has tanked them. And that's all that we're talking about right now, from Spanberger to the John Reed lieutenant governor to obviously Jason Mayares. So that ticket to me is the big loser of the week, because they were flying high with most of them at least a 5-point, in Winsome's case as high as 10. And I think right now Jason has surged to +2. It's dead even in the VA and the lieutenant governor's race, and Winsome's down 2 in a couple polls.
Dan.
Boy, it'd be amazing if Dems lose every office in Virginia.
Oh, they will. They will.
Okay. My losers of the week. We have another tie, and it is the same two people, Donald Trump and Chuck Schumer.
I'm going to ban ties. Just so.
Okay,
yeah, I didn't know.
No. So look, other than the peace deal, Donald Trump has had a rough week. He has the setbacks in the courts, the immigration numbers. We talked about this earlier in the week. Another set of polls show him beginning to go underwater. There's stuff about China and the free trade. You celebrate the wins when you get them, like he does in the Middle East, but he's also got trouble. Chuck Schumer, that video he did, his statement that this is good for us the longer it goes, there's just more and more signs reminding everyone why in today's age he is probably not fit to continue to be leader much longer.
The Nobel Peace Prize Committee is
I was waiting for us to bring that. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, come on. They just be nimble. Just go with reality. This woman who won seems like a very deserving person for an Atlantic magazine or New Yorker profile. The Nobel Peace Prize for what she's done compared to what just happened. They should have been more nimble.
Is there a history of them audibling after a vote to revote?
No, I'm sure never once. But again,
for the brand, you should have done it. They should have
just for the brand, they should have done it, and to give momentum to the process.
Yes.
Or
dual award it. Hey, we've got a runner-up prize.
Yeah, or give him next year's now. Break precedent here, folks. Please. Sean, what are you looking for this weekend?
Well, Mark, tonight it's not just Friday Night Lights football. I've got breaking news. Big debut tonight. C-SPAN's Ceasefire debuts tonight. Look at this. This is a big deal for this. If C-SPAN were rated, unfortunately, it's not. This would probably be the highest rated programming on a Friday night at 7 p.m. that we've seen in a long time. I'm joining their brand new show that they're putting out. Faz Shakir, who is Bernie Sanders' campaign manager, and I have a discussion. Mike Pence and Rahm Emanuel had a discussion. So this is going to be huge tonight. I think most of America will be tuned in to C-SPAN at 7 p.m. And if you miss it at 7, you can count on the 10 p.m. Replay.
Dan?
Rahm's in the top tier now.
Yeah, that's right.
C-SPAN on Friday night. I am watching to see how Democrats this weekend handle Virginia and New Jersey. The numbers are slipping.
Oh, yeah.
You haven't seen the kind of cavalry really arrive, meaning surrogates and a late infusion of cash. By Monday morning, is there an announcement of, 5 million from the DNC, which, by the way, has almost only 5 million, which will be a sign that there is real movement and there's panic.
I agree with you. This is literally when I tell you, when you turn on the news here, this is all they're talking about. And the idea that debate last night, the local news was, the biggest topic was Jay Jones, and Abigail Spanberger was on defense on the issue. The polling that I've seen, I'll talk about that in a second, is that they are just going the wrong way quick.
I think that debate last night is going to go one of two ways. Either Winsome smacked her around, was so aggressive, and people say she's an alpha, she's in charge, she's strong, or they're going to say, in which case they're going to carry it, or it was so over the top that this is crazy.
Yeah.
In which case, I think Jay Jones may actually sneak in.
Oh, no. He's done. He's out.
All right. Look for this weekend, the Badger State, Wisconsin, Saturday night, hosting Game 5, Cubs, Brewers.
Are you going to go before the Packers?
I have no comment on my schedule. And then Sunday, the Packers against the Bengals.
That's a yes.
Big sports weekend in Wisconsin for those lucky enough to observe. Ben, welcome in. Tell folks who don't know where you are, that puppy's name, and what's on your mind.
Puppy's name is Gus.
Awesome.
I'm in Simi Valley, California.
The Reagan Library.
The street from me. So
yeah. And a particularly good In-N-Out burger too.
Yes, always busy.
I don't know why that one's so good, but it's particularly good.
Yeah, it keeps people coming in. No, just a couple things. Mark, just want to say thank you for I read your Candace Owens piece in Daily Mail. Very well written, and
thank you, sir.
Curious to know why you think more people from center right or even right, more prominent, haven't made more public statements about her and that whole Charlie Kirk ordeal fallout.
Truly no idea. I have no idea why they haven't. Don't know.
Okay. Why they're not speaking out more?
Yeah.
Well, Sean can tell you why.
I think there's two reasons, because I've had this discussion a few times in the last week. Number one, I frankly find it disrespectful to Charlie. Like, I find it really in poor taste, the idea of talking about positions, especially with respect to his faith, about what he was going to do or not to do. Let him lie in peace. Let his family lie in peace. And also, to be honest with you, when you get involved in that kind of stuff, especially with her, it usually doesn't end well. And so a lot of people that I've talked to, same thing, where I've said, like, someone where they ask, why aren't you weighing in on this? Haven't you covered it on your show? I'm like, because I don't need to get into as I said, it's not something that I think I actually find it in poor taste what's happening. And I think all it does is create more ridiculous discussion. So I've chosen not to cover it, not because I don't think it's an issue, but because I find it disrespectful to Charlie. And she looks for fights, and so I don't need to get in the middle of a stupid fight. I think the way to handle it is to literally ignore it.
For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, just go to the Daily Mail and read my piece. It's kind of Byzantine, so it would take a lot of time to explain. But Ben, thank you for your kind words. Did you want to ask about something else, Ben?
No, well, just want to make a recommendation for when they make the morning meeting movie.
Yeah.
I'd like for Christoph Waltz to play Dan. I think Russell Crowe could play a good Mark, and Sean, I think we could get Melissa McCarthy back to play.
Okay. Thanks, Ben. Bye, Ben.
Ben, that's 2/3 inspired. That's all I'll say. Ben, thank you very much.
I was there.
Thank you. That's awesome. Very grateful
Brad
to you,
Pitt
Ben,
also would be a good choice.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Dan, what do you think about Waltz playing you?
Sure. I mean, it's fine. I'm equal opportunity.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Why don't we go full AI? We don't have a problem with that. Like, I think, those AI actors, we do it with the song. We might as well do it with the movie.
Yeah. Steve Becker, welcome in. Steven, thank you for being part of the two-way experience. Unmute, tell folks where you are who don't know and what's on your mind.
I'm in Dallas, Texas. And
you're a financial advisor, aren't you?
Excuse me?
Are you a financial advisor?
I am absolutely not a financial advisor.
Oh, I thought I nailed that.
Other than to my older sisters, who unfortunately I have to financially advise. So the question I have is as follows. If you think as I do that, foreign countries believe the best way to defeat the United States is by dividing the country, and a huge part of that is dividing the press and giving everyone a different set of facts, then you'd be very focused on, the honesty of the press. And obviously that's something that Mark has talked about extensively recently. And Mark, you frequently talk about kind of the mainstream media, or however you want to refer to them. How does Fox fit into that equation?
Into just a media ecosphere?
You just never mention Fox. I mean, Fox paid, a massive fine. Yeah. Fox obviously presents, very consistently one view. They don't have guests that would go against that view in the main.
Well, they have Dan Turrentine on quite a bit.
Well, Dan is palatable, but there are lots of other folks that just, they would never put on.
Harold Ford
So,
Jr., he's palatable.
You know what
okay.
I'm talking about.
All right. Ask more specifically, though, because you just
I'm
said, what
trying to
about
figure out,
Fox?
Stephen.
Just
you're
put a finer
you're
point on
very
it.
frequently critical of, ABC, NBC, CBS, and I get it. It's nuanced. I see your point, but you never talk about how Fox fits into this broader equation.
Is your question, how does Fox fit into the broader equation, or why don't I talk about it more?
Both.
Okay. Well, I'll answer the second one, and then Sean and Dan can do the first one, and then I will if I feel I need to add. There's so much commentary on that. I could say the same thing that everybody else says about it, but I'm trying to fill the void of people in my business being wholly uncritical of what I call the dominant media. So it just I don't want to talk that much about the media, but that's the answer to your question. Is there's plenty of commentary on Fox. There's far less commentary on what I think is a very big, insidious, decades-long problem. That's the answer to the second question. Sean, how does Fox fit in?
Well, I think there's two things. One is there's MSNBC and CNN, which are left leaning, right? ABC, CBS, NBC purport themselves to be neutral, which is, I think, and I want to answer for Mark, but I think generally his critique is if you're going to say you're neutral and you're not, that's the problem. Fox is right leaning, MSNBC and CNN are left leaning. If you're going to admit your bias, I have no problem with that, right? So it's like if you watch my show at night, I'm a supporter of Donald Trump. I'm an open social and fiscal conservative. You're getting, I don't hide it. I'm not trying to tell you that I'm being an independent analyst here. I'm not a journalist. I make it very clear. So as long as you know what you're getting, I'm fine with that. Fox is open that its opinion shows in the evening are right leaning. I think during the day they do their best with most of the news oriented shows, try to be straight down the middle. And they've won kudos for that, whether it's Martha McCallum or Brett. I mean, again, I think everybody has their place. And Fox, frankly, the last thing I'll say was a response. What Roger Ailes and cooked up was basically there's plenty of stuff that's left leaning. There's no one covering right leaning issues. So I again remember how Fox grew from their lack of coverage of right leaning issues.
Dan.
I agree with a lot of what Sean said, that ABC, NBC, and CBS are publicly licensed broadcasters that pretend to be down the middle. And I think as a rule, they are not. I think MSNBC has embraced trying to be the progressive version of Fox. CNN has said they're down the middle, but it really is not very. And I think one important distinction that I would make is what Sean said at the end, which is the evening is opinion and largely entertainment. The daytime is more kind of hard news, and they have some outstanding, Bret Baier is maybe one of the best journalists there is in terms of his kind of demeanor and the seriousness in which he takes issues. But yes, Fox is right leaning. There is no doubt about it. And what stories they choose to cover and is definitely an issue. But the reason they're successful is no one else really focuses on it.
I agree with all that.
There's one of them, and I know Newsmax and others are trying to.
Yeah. Stephen, thank you. Grateful to you. Appreciate the question. Try to get one more folk in here. We went long on stuff. I blame Morning Joe. Jack, welcome in. You know the Red Sox are out of the playoffs, right? Just checking.
I do, but I need to at least celebrate the Yankees getting bounced.
It's fantastic. They got pummeled. They got smashed.
If I get the tie again, that's another loser of the week.
The Red Sox would have made that a series, by the way.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'll try and make it quick here. Usually I can't call in because I'm working. But
where do you live, Jack?
I live in San Antonio, Texas. Been here about 4 years.
Is that your backyard?
It is. Although I don't own this place.
Okay. The hoop.
The
hoop
nice
seems
job.
That hoop is a pool hoop.
It is a pool hoop.
Like
that's awesome.
We do like to utilize it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have kids?
Nope. It's just with the bros.
Okay, with the bros. Got it. Okay.
But first question for Dan. So I understand the shutdown politics for the Democrats side. They need to kind of fight back, right? They need to appeal to their base. But and you may have covered this before and I missed it, but I also remember you saying like independents don't really like this stuff. So in your opinion, how do Democrats kind of bridge that gap in the midterms when they're facing Republicans in the general election if the shutdown comes up and they're blamed for it?
Well, right now they're not being blamed for it. And I think that's the issue is at what point might these numbers begin to move? I do think that the longer this goes on and you have maybe 2 paychecks being missed and TSA lines getting, longer in airports and trash piling up in parks, we may start taking a hit. But I think right now, because of all the stuff Trump is doing day in and day out, it appears to be kind of chaotic and stuff. We are not getting blamed for it. And I think the party feels like healthcare is a winning conversation when we don't have many.
COVID. So, Sean, how do the Republicans then kind of turn this on the Democrats in the midterms if they can?
I think if it's solved soon enough, it's not going to be a midterm issue.
Yeah.
The fallout might be, but we're way out from that. But I mean, I'll go back to what I said before. I think we are not taking advantage. I get that, there's other reasons, and I've heard them. I still think we should be jamming them on defense approps, military construction. There's veterans, like, start taking the 12 off the table and forcing them to do it. That's my 2 cents. And I think, frankly, that's where we end up soon. Because if we don't get any progress over the next few days, which I don't think we will, at some point, people are going to say this is getting out of hand.
Okay. Jack, how'd you find the morning meeting and what do you like about it?
Oh, so I listened to, I think when I was listening to commentary, actually, they recommended you guys. I usually try and listen every day, but I'm usually at work. I can't ever call in.
Yeah, you can.
It's probably one of the best, just general American political shows. Very balanced. You guys have great takes. And it's just really cool to see the camaraderie, especially a very divisive age, right? Watching you guys a lot after Charlie Kirk, like that was rough, but I think it was also really important to see you guys come together, especially can still be heated, but agree. But I think it's important because we all agree on first principles here at morning meeting, right? Like I think it's harder when people don't agree on those, and I think we're seeing more of that, which to me as a proud American, that's really worrying. But
Beautifully said. Thank you, sir, and grateful to you for being part of the community.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bring some of the bros next time. We need more. We need more of a bro. What keeps us together, by the way, is the fairway and green clothes. It's like a uniform. It's like a tribal thing.
Hey, Jack, let me ask you a question. As a fellow Red Sox, what are you? Do you wear a size large?
I do not. I'm a weird shirt size.
Why?
It's just that depending on the.
Then I was going to do a Fairway Friday.
Unfortunately. Yeah. Well, it depends on the brand for me. It's between medium and large.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. DM me your address. I'm going to say, if you promise to wear it on air and tell us how great Fairway and Green is, I'm going to make you my Fairway Friday recipient.
Okay.
Right now, you got 2.5 minutes.
You know how to use DM in Zoom?
I do.
All right, Sean.
Don't do a truth.
Sean M. Spicer. Don't send everybody. Sean, how dare you? Just send Sean your address.
You must do this.
Yeah. Jack, thank you, man. Sean, what do you have tonight?
Well, a lot. Robert Cahaley from the Trafalgar Group is going to break down the latest polling nationally, what trends are going. But then Brent Buchanan, who's with Signal, is just out of the field in New Jersey, and he polled all the races in Virginia. So we're going to go over the latest, not just the head-to-head, but obviously the trends. So if you want to know what's happening in Virginia and New Jersey, and obviously nationally, Robert Cahaley and Brent Buchanan tonight at 6.
Great. Two ways left this week. Random Offense with Ethan. His guest, Tom Haberstroh of Yahoo Sports. That's at 2 p.m. this afternoon. Please join them to talk about everything sports, culture, pop. And I'll be doing the last two-way of the week here, 6 p.m. tonight. Beverly Halberg, the Republican strategist, will be amongst my guests. Please join us for full coverage of those two Trump surprise announcements and the president's physical and the latest on the Middle East. We'll have plenty to discuss. Don't forget, October 14th, next Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time, you can join me and David Bonson for a discussion of how AI is shaping the economy and will shape the economy, and anything you want to ask David about macro economy or investment. October 14th, 4 p.m. Again, that's only for the two-way community. It's not on YouTube. So if you want to be part of the conversation, please go to twoway.tv/TBG for the Bonson Group. While you're there, do yourself a favor, sign up for David's daily newsletter on the economy. That's free, the Dividend Cafe. Thanks to all of you, many of you who said you're interested in investing in two-way. We've got your names. We'll be in touch when we get to our next investment round. But please don't be cross if you don't hear back from us. We're collecting name now, but we're not ready to to start sharing details. But if you want to be involved and you want to make a significant investment, I know that means different things to different people. If you make a significant investment in Two-Way, send us an email at invest@twoway.tv. And again, don't be sad or hurt if you don't hear right back from us. But we are collecting names. Thank you for being part of Two-Way. The three of us will be back Monday morning, 9 a.m. Eastern time, because Dan, if it's 9 a.m. Eastern time,
it's the morning meeting.
Yeah. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Take us out.